So we have a project scope, which is the work we have to do to get the results that we need in terms of features, functionality, and the product. So is the project scope same as product scope or they're different?
They could be different, right?
How?
Product requirements could change, but the project scope could still remain the same.
And also the product is about the features and the functionality.
Yeah.
Right. The project is
basically delivering whatever you committed for.
Correct. So it's more about the process, people, and environment.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to create the product, right? That's why we're talking about validate scope. So that's what we do here. We make sure that the work is done and scope creep doesn't happen. We're not out of scope all the time. It is, how do we measure it? Well, it's based on the approved plan, based on the approved charter. Be as clearly defined as possible. Project manager should spend a lot of time in understanding what the project stakeholders really want, what the client really wants, what the customer really wants. A lot of communication, interaction with the team on what they can do and with the stakeholders, what they really want. They should work on requirements and not desirements. What do you think about this?
Yeah, otherwise it keeps adding more requirements.
Yeah. There's no word in English actually, desirement, but I just try to make it sound like requirements, desirements. So in real life, do we often work on desirements?
We do. That's how you invent something, right? New.
Yeah, I knew you will say that because this is how techies function. You know, the techies want to be in their ivory tower and use the latest technology, ChatGPT, AI, and build the awesome product that nobody wants and doesn't generate money. So the idea is we have to be very focused. That is why in the Agile movement, this talk about business came a lot, right? And the business analyst, product owner was made in charge for the product backlog. Right? In this scenario, collect requirements is a piece of the project manager. And often they like to hire a technical guy and then make him a technical project manager, and he has no idea about the business. Actually, they will be very happy to have Sergey Brin used to say that, oh, all our project managers have to have technical knowledge, which is good and bad, right?
Yeah.
So scope management has 6 processes, 4 in planning and 2 in control scope, total 6. What are those? Plan scope. Based on that, collect the requirements from the client, customer, stakeholders. And then now you got 100 requirements, define the scope that out of these 100 requirements, 70 will be a part of this phase or this release. 30 will go in the next, because based on the constraints that are given to me in terms of time and funding, I cannot have all 100 requirements that I have collected released in this phase. Now, do you see, my friend Karun, the notion of phase and how it is converging towards the MVP?
Right.
So the problem is that can you imagine how many features this phone has?
How many?
Very good question. I don't know. But the answer is this. Every time I talk to my daughter, oh, Papa, you don't even know this. Oh, do you know this? And then she'll tell me 110. And I say, how smart you are. Because I want to do well in life. The truth is, I'm not interested. The truth is, this laptop that I have right now, what percentage of this laptop I use?
Limited.
5%. 95%. I don't even know it. Its entire lifetime, I will never use it. But the Apple engineers built such a wonderful MacBook in the air, right? That they think they are so proud of, but the customer doesn't even care. Am I right, friends?
Yeah.
Doesn't that apply to everything? If you look at your TV around you, whether you look at your car around you. There was a guy sitting in my car. He said, "Do you know this button?" I said, "Can you look at the front?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "When I drive the car, I look at the front. I don't look at buttons."
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of this whole discussion on out of scope and in scope, and not all requirements are necessary, and that is why some of you were struggling in answering that question, avoiding unnecessary changes. Remember, because
Yeah.
you thought that everything that comes from the stakeholder is right.
Mhm.
It may not be right? Based on the constraints of time and cost, based on the constraints of the market requirement. And that is where a lot of project managers fail and are fired because they don't step up, I believe. You have to say, this is my timeline, this is my cost line, it cannot be done. Now you tell me, out of this 100, first release, what is that? First fail, what is that?
Mhm.
And then define the scope as crisp as possible. And once the scope is finalized, 70 requirements, 60 requirements, then you go and create the structure of the work to be done for task level, activity level. So later on, you can assign resources to it, assign money to it, assign timeline to it, right? And the team member. And then go and check how the work is going on in control scope, and validate scope, how the deliverables are doing. So it's like a funnel, right, friends? High level to very specific, because you start at a high level from charter, you get the scope, requirements, and then you, based on the WAS, later on we'll go and decide the budget and timeline. So why do you think the shooter is here?
It has to stay focused.
Very good. Come on, when you shoot, there's a cross in
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Anybody involved in shooting here likes to go to shooting range?
No.
No.
All right. Yeah, that's an American privilege, right?
We have it in India also.
Really?
Yeah, Delhi
Yeah.
City Fort Auditorium.
My sister told me I never want to go and live in America, because America, everybody shoots everybody. Everybody has a gun. I said, okay. When I went to England, I was traveling to Scotland. I met a lady 65 in a bar, and she tells me, "Oh, you're from California. It was my dream to go to California." I said, "Why didn't you go?" It's a $500 ticket. No, because everybody has a gun there.
California is better, I think, compared to.
I've never seen a gun in 17 years, but people.
Yeah.
So yeah, validate the scope, plan the scope, get the requirements based on customer needs, have a detailed description of the scope, then create deliverables, and then go about controlling your scope. Is it in line with the baseline? And acceptance of the deliverables that you have created. From a product perspective, it is validate scope. From a project perspective, it is control scope. So very important to know the difference between these two.